One day you're vibing to Green Day. The next, the grocery store is playing your teenage playlist. That's when you know you're officially getting old. Reddit asked, what made you suddenly realize you're getting old? When I started hearing words from kids I completely didn't understand. 6'7"? What is this 6'7" thing anyway? It's one of life's greatest mysteries. That and skibbity. It's nothing. And I don't mean that like I'm trying to belittle it. It literally means nothing. Gen A/Z find the absence of comedy funny. That is to say, the funny of the joke is the fact that people will look at it and be confused. It's like a you had to be there joke, except no one was there. In short, their brains have rotted from unmitigated internet usage and now laugh at arm waves and random numbers. Yay! Welcome to the future! Heartburn is suddenly a real concern. I didn't get heartburn my entire life until a year ago. Went to the ER this week for severe stomach pains or heartburn and woke up 2 days later with no gallbladder. So it is a real concern. Going to the grocery store and they are playing music from my teenage years. This feels good, but it feels bad. Lol. Love hearing Green Day at Kroger. Turning 80. What has been your favorite decade and why? You gotta ask louder. What was your favorite decade and why? When I wake up and realize I've injured myself after just sleeping. I slept a solid 8 hours. I should be rejuvenated for the day. Body, yeah, but you did it wrong, lol.
Hi guys, if you like my video, please just subscribe, drop a like and tap the bell so you won't miss the next video. I'm already working on a new one for you, so see you.
When I am hanging out with my friends just out of high school or in college and they suggest something stupid or dangerous, and I respond saying, maybe that's not a good idea, or that sounds dangerous. Holy shit, I realized I sounded like my parents. That's not getting old, that's just your prefrontal cortex finally developing. Watching football. I used to be like, yeah, take his head off. Now, if someone gets rocked, I think, aw, that's just a kid trying to live out his dream. I hope he's okay. And realizing I'm old enough to be their mother. Sigh. The sound of my knees when I stand up. Or just grunting for no particular reason when getting up. When I started seeing fucking 2016 to 2019 high school aesthetic photos on the internet. When I realized my doctors and dentists are younger than me. Same, having a boss younger than me was a big one too. I've always been the youngest of my peers and was used to being the underage boss. Then, all of a sudden, I'm on the other end. I'm totally fine with it. Just made me realize that I'm not a kid anymore. 20-year-old women are too young. I remember some comedian making an observation once. At what point do you start fancying nanas? At the time, I thought it was gross and hilarious, but yeah, your age range does start to shift with time, as I see 20-year-olds almost teenage-like now, and it puts me off. When I realized new songs just sound like noise to me, and I still think 2000s music was real music. And our real music is now only on the classic station and referred to as golden oldies. Started telling back in my day stories to explain to the youths how it really was. Realizing that in the 80s, I thought the 40s were long, long ago. So little kids now see the 80s the same way. My cat's vet tech got all excited about his name because she took a 20th century lit course and recognized it. Just about died over that one. She said, back in the 1900s, the same way I would say back in the 1800s. 1.5 years ago, I threw my back out. Then, a couple months later, my knee buckled while climbing a ladder a bit. Then I had a stroke and had to get outpatient heart surgery for things that aren't worth explaining that were hereditary and all connected. also connected was cholesterol medicine. Somewhere in all that, I broke a rib. Then I had a best man pass away. Then I've had at least 4 other notable people pass away from different moments in my life. Then lately, I've been helping clean out my parents' house before it's more destitute in their elderly age. Then I noticed that most of my stories started with 20 years ago. Suddenly, it's been quite the fucking getting old couple years. When I was in college, I learned how to open a beer bottle with a lighter. On my 50th birthday this summer, I used that skill to open a bottle of Topo Chico mineral water with a bottle of ibuprofen. Everything is annoying. Loud sounds, too many people, freaking slang. I literally will say yeet to my son, and he tells me that was nearly 10 years ago. Also, I'm ready to tell people to get off my lawn. I can't keep up with the kids' slang these days. I have a 19-year-old, 17, 15, 12, and 8-year-old, and they are constantly saying things I don't understand that I have to look up. Lol. I realized when I didn't recognize the country I grew up in anymore. And it is not nostalgia talking, it's grief. That quiet, suffocating kind that settles in when you realize the place that shaped you doesn't exist anymore. That's when I knew I was old, not because of time, but because the world had moved on and left something uglier in its place. When I started talking about things that happened 20 years ago and realized that those things happened when I was an adult. When my 10-year plans had me in the mid-50s, I still have a hard time wrapping my head around approaching the 50s. I really don't like it. 50 is kind of awesome. If you've never not given a fuck about something, 50 will introduce you to it. There's so much shit I just go, I don't care about that at all. But I also have the attitude that some shit is just not for me, and that's okay. So, YMV. My partner left me, and before the shock had worn off and I thought I was fine, I installed a couple of dating apps, now all deleted, and all the men my age and a bit older are so old. I had this experience at 30 and 32. Finding a guy with hair on his head was a challenge. Found one, he has substantially more hair than me. When I realized I was old enough to have an adult child. I'm 38. I could very easily have had an 18, 20-year-old kid. When an irritating behavior brings those magical words from your mouth for the first time. This generation. Kids these days. While discussing music, direct quote from my son, I like the old rock too, like Linkin Park before the girl singer, and the Nirvana. Old rock, the Nirvana. I had to go lie down. I went to a coworker's baby shower. I had these beautiful high heels I rarely wore, so I decided to put them on for the occasion. The venue wasn't that far away, so I decided to walk there. On my way, I felt a weird tug on my knee, but didn't really pay much attention to it. Went back home. The next day, my whole knee was swollen, and I apparently sprained it. I didn't do anything except walk in very high heels the way I've been doing since I'm 16 or 17. Yep, it was a wake-up call. I used to walk miles in stiletto heels in my 20s. At some point, something in my ankle went wrong from nothing, and it's extremely painful to even put them on anymore. I had 2-inch heels at my wedding, and that was too much. I put on sneakers probably 10 minutes after the ceremony. Thanks for watching. Write in the comments how you feel about getting older, and check out these equally interesting videos. Talk to you soon.